my name is Masha, and today I'm going to show you all the bracelets that I made both in February and March of this year. Usually I do my wrap-ups every month, but I ended up missing the month of February, so we're putting the two together this time. If you are new here, my monthly wrap-ups are just videos in which I show you the bracelet that I made throughout the month, and then also at the end of the video I give you guys a challenge for the next month. Before I get further into the video, I want to say that if you guys enjoy videos like these where we just hang out and talk, you should consider subscribing to my second channel, which is Masha Doesn't Knot. That channel is about whatever I want it to be. I post any kind of video that I feel like making at the time. Most of the time it's talking videos, like I discussed what it's like to be a YouTuber or what it's like to be in a long distance relationship and my advice for people in them. Occasionally I sprinkle in a little bit of gaming here and there. I did a video last week about Club Penguin, which is the game of my childhood that I haven't visited in 15 years. I'm also potentially starting a new Sims 2 series, since a few of you guys liked that, and I quite enjoyed that last year as well. But in any case, it's just the channel where we hang out and chat about whatever we feel like, and I would love to see you there as well. So as I said, it's Masha Doesn't Knot. Very creative, I know, and it's linked in the description for you if you want to check it out after this video. That being said, let's get into pictures from the previous challenge. So since there was no February wrap-up, there was no March challenge, so I'm taking pictures from the February challenge. And the challenge in February was wall hangings, which, oh my god, you guys delivered! I know I say this every wrap-up video, but I love looking at the pictures that you guys submit. I have found so many cool new patterns through you guys, and so much inspiration as well through looking at your submissions. You guys are talented, you make amazing bracelets and wall hangings as well. I was very impressed. And I was also very inspired to create my own wall hanging, which we'll talk about later in this video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the challenge. I hope you enjoyed making some wall hangings. I definitely enjoyed looking at your challenge submissions, and I also made a wall hanging of my own. Although I did make it in March, so I guess it's not technically a challenge submission in that case. The rules for the April challenge will be at the end of this video. But for now, let's have a look at the bracelets that I made in February and March. I have a little container full of bracelets. I separate them because I forget otherwise what bracelets I made when, if I just put them in my general collection. Also, I forget to take pictures of them. I had like 20 bracelets that I forgot to take pictures of for my Instagram, and I just went through and I took pictures of all of them. So now my Instagram is exploding with pictures. I did not make many bracelets in February. I made 4. Which is a decent amount, to be honest. It's not nothing, especially considering that they're, you know, not small, they're medium-sized. But I definitely prefer to make more bracelets. I just had a bit of a rough month. I talked a little bit about it in the Not With Me that I posted before this video, so if you want to hear my sort of life update and struggles, then you can watch that video. I usually use my Not With Me videos as life updates, but we'll get to that. I'll show you the bracelet I made in that video as well during this wrap-up. Alright, so let's get into these bracelets. I made this bracelet in February. You might recognize this bracelet from a video I did in the beginning of February where I was starting bracelets for the month of February. This was one of those bracelets. I'll leave that video linked in the description if you want to watch it. This is what it looks like up close. I'm curious what you guys will think about it. I don't know what I think about the color combination. Like, I like it. I think it looks good, but on the other hand, there's something like off about it, and I'm not quite convinced that this was a good choice for a color combination. Another thing that I don't particularly like about this bracelet is the fact that at the end where I did the triangle end, I did 2 rows of the background teal, and then at the beginning I only did 1, and I think that's kind of asymmetrical and it looks a little bit weird. So I'm not convinced I like the colors, and I'm not convinced that I like the start of it. I think that if I'd done 2 rows like I did at the end, it would have looked nicer. But overall, I had a good time making this bracelet. It was a fun bracelet to make. I recommend making this pattern if you're able to choose colors that you actually enjoy, and maybe if you do a double thing at the start as well as at the bottom, it will look really nice. Also for this bracelet, I would have loved to, you know, since I started it with 2 triangle ends here at the top where like this zigzag thing begins, if I had ended it in 2 triangle ends with that sort of shape as well, I would have loved that if it had turned out like that, but because it was too short here and then it would be too long if I did another one, I sort of ended up doing a triangle end, which is fine, but it would have been better if I had finished it here, I think. Next up, we've got this bracelet, which I finally remade. I've wanted to remake this bracelet since like December, and I only really got around to it in February, which was the last month of winter, so you know, still winter themed, it still fits. But I wish I had done it earlier, to be honest. If you've been around for a while, then you would recognize this pattern because I made this pattern already a year ago, and it turned out horribly. People wanted a side-by-side comparison, but I cannot for the life of me find the previous bracelet that I did for this pattern, so you're gonna have to go ahead and watch the Not With Me that I did back then. I'll leave that linked in the description as well. But it genuinely turned out horrible. It was wonky, it was just, I did not like it. This one turned out much better. As you can see, it's pretty straight, it's pretty nice. I like the way that it turned out. The one thing that I don't like about this bracelet is the fact that the first sort of fir tree that we've got here is a different color. It's a navy blue, whereas the rest of it is black. I wish I had gone with black straight from the beginning. For some reason, I thought that the navy blue stood out enough from the background. It did when it was just like in string form, when I was comparing the strings, but once I actually started making the bracelet, I realized that it does not stand out enough to look like a separate color. It blends into the background completely and you can barely see that first fir tree. So I ended up switching. I did think about like stopping the bracelet entirely and like remaking it, but I was tired. I didn't want to do that. I filmed this entire process of making this as well for a Not With Me. I'll leave that Not With Me linked in the card and in the description as well if you want to watch it. I enjoyed making this bracelet. I'm glad I remade it. I'm glad it turned out better than it did the year before. It shows how much I've progressed with alphas and how much better I make them now and how I'm more confident with them. But I won't be making this pattern again. I'm honestly quite tired of it. It's not that engaging to make because there's a bunch of background and, you know, it's fun to look at, but it's not really fun to make. So I probably won't be making this bracelet again, which is why it's cut short. It's not a very long bracelet because it was kind of tiring to make it. But I'm glad I made it. Probably start going faster through these, otherwise this video is gonna take forever. I've already been filming for 20 minutes. All right, next up, we've got this bracelet. Don't have much to say about it. I think it's cute. I made a similar pattern in the summer. I wanted to make it again. This one's a little skinnier than the one I made in the summer, but it's cute. I like the colors, I like the bracelet, I like everything about it. Don't have much to say about it. It's just a cute pattern. I recommend it. Next up, we've got a really fun bracelet. This one. This bracelet is not a bracelet that I picked to make. You guys chose this bracelet for me. You chose that I make this pattern with these colors this way. And I think you guys made a great choice. I love this bracelet. I think it turned out amazing. First of all, I love the color combination. Can't credit myself with that. I think this was the color combination that was already in the pattern when I chose it. But this is a nice color combination. I love the teal and I love how the orange accents the entire bracelet. It's top tier. I love it. Also, the pattern is awesome. I love this pattern. It was a really fun bracelet to make. I genuinely really like it, and I'm really happy that you guys picked it out for me. If I hadn't said it already, this was an Instagram Chooses My Bracelet video where you guys picked out this pattern and the colors for me. Like always, the video is going to be linked in the card and in the description for you guys to watch later if you feel like it. Also, you should follow me on Instagram if you want to participate in videos like these. Alright, so those were the 4 bracelets that I made in February. Let's move on to March. March was a more productive month for me. I made more bracelets. I probably would have made even more bracelets had I not made a giant wall hanging that took up most of my time. But I'm really glad that I made it, so let's have a look at it. Look at this monstrosity. It's huge! I mean, granted, it's not the hugest wall hanging that I've ever seen. I've seen some really big ones on Instagram that I'm never going to attempt, but I personally have never made a wall hanging bigger than this one. This is a huge deal for me. It's massive for me. Also, I can't believe that I'm finally confident enough in my alpha skills to actually attempt making this, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. It's really straight at the edges. The rows themselves are really straight. The color changes are awesome. It's not bumpy anywhere. I love it. I love how it turned out and I'm super proud of it. Also, this is the first human that I've ever made. I've never made a human before. It's also the first anime character I've ever made. This is Luffy from One Piece, if you guys don't know. I used to watch One Piece. I really like it. So when I saw this pattern, I absolutely had to make it. I'm trying to give you guys a close-up, but he doesn't really fit in the shot properly when I do that. But there you go, this is what he looks like, and this is what he looks like from behind. There's a bunch of color changes there. I think he looks amazing. I also used this wall hanging in a video to talk about how to make better alphas. So if you're looking for alpha tips, specifically on how to keep your edges go down straight and not protrude anywhere, to keep your rows consistent and straight, and to do color changes better, then I recommend you watch that video because I gave a ton of tips there. As always, it's going to be linked in the card and in the description for you guys. I also have a tutorial on how to make wall hangings, so if you want that, will also be linked in the description, though that uses a different pattern. I just thought I'd mention it here. Moving forward, this bracelet, I love it. I love the string, I love the pattern, and I love how it turned out. This bracelet uses a multicolored string, which is a pastel rainbow. It's by Anchor. I don't remember the number, but I'll put it on screen. I bought it like 2 years ago for someone on Etsy, and I basically haven't used it since then. And I finally did. I finally found a pattern that it fits into, and I love how it turned out. Also, this pattern I've been wanting to make for a while, and it just felt like the perfect combination. A string that I've been wanting to use for ages, a pattern that I've been wanting to make for a while, combined, create this. It turned out a little bit longer than I would have liked. I prefer my bracelets a little bit on the shorter side, but since, you know, I wanted to finish the iteration of the design, I had to make 3 of them. But nonetheless, I love the way it turned out. Oh my god, just, I don't know what to say about it. I really like this bracelet. If you want to watch me make this bracelet from start to finish, I made a Knot With Me video. It's actually the Knot With Me video that I was referencing in the beginning of the video, the one in which I talk about what's been going on in my life, but that's kind of besides the point here. If you want to watch me make it, you should watch that Knot With Me video, which will be linked in the description. I also highly recommend making the pattern. It's really fun. And last but not least, we've actually got, what, 6 bracelets here? I'm putting these all into one category because it's the same pattern, but we've got the daisy chains. Now, these bracelets have absolutely taken over my Instagram feed. I feel like everybody is making them right now. I scroll and every second post is someone posting a daisy chain bracelet, and I love that. I think they're super cute. They fit into the season perfectly. They're very spring related, and they're so fun and easy to make. I highly recommend making them if you haven't tried them already. I have a tutorial on these bracelets. I posted it last week. If you're a beginner but you're comfortable with making bracelet knots, then I highly recommend you make this bracelet. It's super easy. There's only really 2 steps you have to make. You just have to repeat the same steps over and over, and it's really quick and easy. That tutorial will also be linked in the description, as with everything else. I made these in a pastel color combination. I think the color combination is really cute, and I love how these turned out. Here you are with a bit of a closer look. You also don't have to make them white and yellow. You can make the flowers into any colors you want. I've seen people experiment with the colors so much and create absolutely gorgeous designs. But there you have it. These are all the bracelets that I made in both February and March. I dropped one. I had a lovely time making these, and if you were inspired by any of the patterns, there's tutorials and patterns linked in the description, as there always are. Let's talk about the challenge. So I'm finally giving you guys a challenge for the month of April. And yes, I'm gonna be a little bit basic this month. I'm gonna give you guys a bit of a basic theme, but I really like it, and I think you will too. Spring is here. Spring is absolutely here, and I couldn't be more excited. I love spring. It's probably my favorite season of them all because everything starts blooming, and I can go to the park and look at the beautiful flowers and then sneeze at them because I have hay fever. Anyway, I'm oversharing. Spring. I want you to make a bracelet that is related in any way to spring. Interpret that however you like. This is a challenge. This is not a competition, so there's nothing to win. The main goal is for you to have fun and for us to do something together as a community. So you can make a normal pattern, an alpha pattern, a wall hanging, a keyring, whatever you want. Just make something that makes you think of spring. Now let's talk about how to submit to the challenge. There are now 2 ways you can submit your bracelets into the challenge. The first way, like always, you can submit through Instagram. To submit through Instagram, make a bracelet, take a picture of it, post it to your Instagram account, make sure it's set to public because otherwise nobody else can see it. Tag me in the photo and use 2 hashtags, Not With Masha and Not With Masha April 21, short for April. I don't know how to pronounce that. The second way to submit to the challenge is through my Discord server. Whether or not you're submitting to the challenge, I recommend joining my Discord server anyway because it's a fun place to be. There's a bunch of sections to talk about bracelets, get help for your bracelets, but also talk about other things like video games, for example. We have a section for Animal Crossing where we play together sometimes. But I am also now launching a separate channel on my Discord server through which you can submit pictures for the challenge. So if you don't have an Instagram or don't want to set your Instagram to public, then you can submit your pictures through my Discord. The link for which is always in the description of my videos. But there you go, I hope you guys participate in the challenge. I definitely will. I love, love, love spring, and I can't wait to make spring related bracelets. And I hope you guys will join me. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. As I mentioned many times throughout this video, all the patterns and the links to videos in which these bracelets were featured are always in the description if you guys want to check them out. Before I go, I want to give a special shout out to my patrons and especially my top supporters whose names are going to appear on screen. Thank you guys so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. It is absolutely with your support that I'm able to create these videos. If I didn't have patrons, I absolutely wouldn't be able to create these videos. You guys are awesome. And if you also want to become a patron, there is a link in the description where you can sign up to do so. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video and I will see you in the next one. Bye.